Campbell County Sheriff's Office.
Joyce,
Yeah.
how you doing?
Okay.
Hey, they didn't find the body, did they?
No, not that I know of.
I just heard a vicious rumor that someone reported to Sutner's that, the gal that works at Sutner's with Diane is a first cousin of Teresa.
Okay.
And they supposedly heard over the scanner. Not true, huh?
Not my scanner.
Okay, thank you.
Not my frequency.
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty, bye-bye.
Campbell County Sheriff.
We're almost at the end of Kuss Road. Should be a SWAT down there. I don't know who's sitting in it, but bring an investigator down here. We got some items that should be cleared. Copied. 26, you may want a shovel. 752, we copied. We'll make arrangements here. Just an item that should be checked a little closer. What we got is a burning barrel just off the property in the debris. Yeah. 193403. 403. I have two investigators. I believe you're in this cornfield with the winter wheat growing in it, correct? If you go just down the lane where the trailers are, that's where we are, just by the property. We're right by the road.
Welcome to Late Night Puddle Podcast, and today, or tonight, I should say, back to Kuss Road Curse Podcast. So, the last time we did a podcast on Kuss Road, it was more or less our theory. Now, I want to just kind of approach this real quick before I introduce everybody that we've got today. Theories are basically an idea, a thought process of how a plot may have went that could be plausible, but it doesn't mean that that's what really took place. Just so you guys know, when we say theory, that's just a theory. But today, we're not really walking through a plot. We're actually going to be looking at new visual aids from everywhere from pictures that have been cut off MaM 1, MaM 2. Some of them are directly from the trial themselves, and they are exhibits. Others are actually just different things we've collected. And so, let me introduce everybody tonight. We've got Bumblebee. Hey, Bumblebee.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Jeannie. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Hi, everyone.
Hey, LL Cool.
Hi, everybody.
Now, I might call her Lacey. I can't help it. And Zoe.
Hey, guys.
There's Zozo. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to walk you through just a few things that the more we research, because we do believe very much so that Kuss Road was high activity. And we know that the previous investigators have said that they were all called to Kuss Road. They kicked a stump, said, nah, nothing to see here, took the crime tape down, and they all went back to their business. Now, that's what Kratz and everybody has said in the trial. Colburn said it was nothing to see here, keep going. Kratz was like, absolutely nothing, not even worth bringing up. So it only appears 9 times in the CASO. However, we have some very serious things going down on that property. And the fact that they're trying to portray it as a red herring, we know right there something had to have taken place. So it makes you more curious. And we have listened all to the calls. If you haven't heard the dispatch calls, we have a prior video. It's the Kuss Road investigation. It plays the whole call through. And you might want to start with that if you're playing catch-up.
Clearly, from the looks of this, it looks more like they treated this more like a crime scene than they did Avery's.
True.
Sabotage.
So let's talk about that for a second. When you look at the people that have responded to this incident, so the first thing I notice, and I think we all notice, at the very bottom of the screen is this bright yellow vehicle. Since then, we have found out that that's actually the crime lab. And how we know that is because the crime lab is a portable unit, and that's what that is. Now, let's look again. What's another vehicle you guys see that we want to talk about?
The big white one.
The big white one?
The ambulance.
The ambulance. Okay. What you see is the food truck, the Salvation Army, right? It's a white vehicle. It's got little red logos on it, and it's got windows in the side. But you don't see any other red striping on this vehicle at all. So on this board, you guys, you can see there's a red line that crosses this vehicle's side. And that is not a food truck. Also on the call, we heard the person said, "Do you want us to come where you're waiting for the Wisconsin Crime Lab?" And they said, "No, stay where you are, have a hot dog." Salvation Army.
While you're there, get a hot dog. The Salvation Army trucks.
Yep. So we know
and that's
that,
Avery's.
And we've got the crime lab down here. So that's Avery's at the actual hot dog
and that's
stand.
board.
When you look at board 6 right here, you can see that we have this vehicle that looks very close. It's on the left-hand side. It's facing, leaving the area, and has dark sides to it. You can see where the windows are. So there's like a red fire truck, and then adjacent to that, parallel to that, you can see this long truck. That's where we believe the food thing is. So that's kind of where we feel that some of these vehicles, I feel that that's some very serious vehicles to be down here. T1, to quote him for my probably 15th time now, he brought up the best point ever. Why would you wouldn't roll down an ambulance for a stump. So why do we have the ambulance? Looks like a gurney coming out. You've got the state crime lab there. Now look at the top, you guys. Do you see that blue car?
Mm-hmm.
So
with the white stripe down the middle?
Yeah, with the white stripe down the middle. Let's go ahead and let's look at board 16 and 15 because those are going to show you what it is. And then we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about why they're there. I took a little snippet and you can see that this is obviously the blue vehicle at the end of the cul-de-sac.
Yes.
And then let's look at 16. Now this came right out of actual news footage. I snipped a shot out of like some news footage that was local that was doing probably an aerial. This is blocking off the highway 147 right now. And they are starting their investigation over Avery's. And what you can see is 2 state trooper vehicles there, possibly a third behind it, but I can't see the color. But you see the white line?
And the crest.
And the crest, yeah.
And you also see that in your picture right above in 15, the white line and the crest.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's no doubt that's a state trooper.
So
yeah, even in board 15, you can even see the deer catcher or whatever on the front.
Oh yeah, the grill.
Mm-hmm.
What are those called?
Yeah.
Bumper, enforced bumper or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Brush guard.
So if you hit an animal or anything.
Brush guard.
Brush guard. Thank you, BB. Okay, you guys.
Yes.
So 67 shows us. I know we're flipping you guys back and forth, but so 67, what it tells me, you guys, is let's list out what we have here. If nothing happened here, they wouldn't have pulled an ambulance to roll down there. They wouldn't have pulled DCI down there. They wouldn't have pulled all the state troopers down there. So we've kind of done some checking, and why were the state troopers there? All right, so let's jump to board 58, and you can see he's holding something. And what we've learned is that is a grading rod, a survey laser marker type thing. And he's going to be doing more of a survey of the geographical area. And if you look at board 59, you can see they use that. The guy holds the pole down there, and then the other guy has a tripod. And this is an example of how that works. You can see this guy off in the distance standing on the berm. And he's way up there, and you can see the tripod. The gentlemen are all standing in a row, and we're definitely going to be coming back to this picture. But he's using the tripod part, so we have both parts. We have the marker, as well as actually the tripod that they do it in. And we did a little bit of a close-up picture on 34, so you can take a quick peek at that.
So it shows that the tripod is actually in front of him and that he is facing towards us.
Right. And he's actually photographing whole makeout and layout of the land of Kuss Road, right? So
Right.
if this is nothing, absolutely nothing, why
Why are they mapping it?
are they mapping it? Let's find out why. These came right from some of the trial information, some of their PowerPoints. It says, objective of analysis. Forensically measure the locations and terrain in and adjacent to the Avery Salvage Yard, located on Avery Road in Manitowoc County, Wisconsin. Based on measurements recorded at the location, prepare scaled scene diagrams of the property. Where applicable, generate three-dimensional scene models and subsequent animations, okay? So the object of doing that is that, but look who's doing it. Request for services timeline. The Wisconsin State Patrol receives a request on November 5th, 2005, from local law enforcement officials to provide security services and forensic mapping assistance at the Avery property. So we know that there is a big group that's doing it, but also the State Patrol are doing jobs too. Forensic mapping activities continued until November 12th, 2005, with later evidentiary items being measured in 2006 and 2007 at the Calumet County Sheriff's Department. So we have a big point here. November 12th is the day that everything shut down and keys came back to Avery's and everybody left Teresa's except for minor pop-ins there, but they close up shop and leave, hand back properties. November 12th. Why? Because if you read the CASO, they found the last item they said, the first and the last items they needed. And they knew at the moment when they found it that it was the last item they said. And it was a long bone, they called it a long bone, and it had tissue attached on the 12th. Now, forensic mapping activities continued until November 12th. Again, November 12th, the buck stops here. In total, over 4,100 measurements were recorded either manually or with assistance of electronic measuring devices. So we know right there what State Patrol is doing there. So I think we've cleared up a little bit that this is not a blue RAV that initially we have suggested in another video when we were asking, could this be the blue RAV? I think we found out more relevant information, and as we tend to do, we want to go back and actually address anything we've learned more on. More evidence gets revealed, we have to update. So I think that's what we're seeing at the end of Kuss Road. Do you girls feel that's pretty solved, or I mean?
Well, it's accurate. It seems accurate. It goes together.
Okay.
And you can clearly see them with the tripod with the stick.
Yeah, and we have pictures of both.
We can see all these vehicles busy. We can see so many people, but we also know that they actually go back to deer camp along the way and they find a shallow grave. And then we hear on that call about the burn barrel, the cell phone, and this kind of thing at Randon's. Then they're letting Josh through. Josh Randa and the State Crime Lab are the only ones through. So just for you people that are armchair sleuths like ourselves and want to dig in a little bit, let's start working on what is the smudge in front of the ambulance. What is that black smudge on board one? Is it there any other time in any other picture?
I think it might be in the board 67. Yeah.
Okay.
It's also on board 11, but it's the same picture we're looking at.
Right. We need a different picture to see if it's something on that photograph. Was it
Actually,
Photoshop?
no, it's in front of the ambulance. The thing I'm looking at.
See those people standing there in front of the board on 67 with black jackets and black clothes? Is that what we're looking at? Is the individuals talking in front of the ambulance? Because it really looks like it.
Well, if you look at board 22, you see the same, but without the vehicle in front of it.
Yeah, and now it doesn't look like people, does it? It's too short. It's half as tall as that state trooper. There's nobody going to be half as tall as that state trooper. We don't have midgets for, law enforcement. So it's not as tall as the car, the state trooper.
And if you look on picture 21, you see it there also.
Okay, let's do that.
Just further away, we got to bring it up a little closer.
That is not people, in my opinion.
No.
Are those barrels? Are those barrels? We talked about this last night. Quite a few of us were asking, are they barrels? So that's what we're asking. Are those barrels?
Okay, so now I want to go back to the first picture. We saw that in the triangle. I just want to compare it.
That looks so strange.
Because you see a different dimension of it in the picture number one.
It doesn't look like the same pile of whatever. Is it somebody in motion? Are they walking away from the vehicle and they get a blur, like, you know, like shutter refraction, or I don't know what you call it, but slow shutter exposure?
I got to go back to 22 again. Hang on a second.
What do you think it is, baby?
Depends on which picture I look at.
Well,
sorry.
if it's not,
I know that's not really clear, but you know, I wish I could give you a clear answer.
The fact that it's not in all the pictures, the fact that it's not in all the pictures means that it's something mobile, something you could pick up,
portable,
move,
yeah,
or portable. That's what I meant. You know, a person walking, something they're carrying, and it does look to me like it's. I thought it was actually on my computer screen the first time I saw it, and I'm like, what did I get on my screen? You know.
Well, go to 27, Ducky. That's where you circled that spot.
Oh,
that's
great. Thank you. Okay, so this is a really blurry, pixelated, low resolution photograph, but I circled it and did a blow up. So we're asking you guys, could that be barrels?
Stacked in like a...
Or not even stacked, not buckets, but
in a
barrels.
triangle
like
shape.
They're gathered.
1, 2, 3, or...
Yeah. Actually, if that was barrels, my best guess would be possibly 4.
But when you look at the other picture, it looks like a triangle, so that's what makes me think there's like 3 of them.
1, 2, 3. That's why it's got that weird shape. Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, it's
if those
3
are
barrels.
It's 3 barrels. That's what I think. Do you think it could be 3 barrels?
I think so.
It depends on which picture you look at. At one time, it looks like a smudge.
It's hard to tell.
It is, but it would look more like something.
And in 28, we had decided, of course, this is kind of jumping ahead, but we decided those, definitely the ones in front of the yellow vehicle on the straight line, are barrels, and then that's smaller.
Right, so let's catch them up, you guys.
So it can't be 3 barrels.
Sometimes I see people, though, in front of
it can't be 3 barrels there making that little triangular smudge, because it's about less than the size of 1 barrel.
So what you guys are talking about is we've gone to board 28, and you can see the Wisconsin State Crime Lab van sitting there. Now, if you look directly in front of the van, the yellow vehicle, well, you're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4 smudges. Now, the second smudge isn't as dark, and that's how you can tell. But if you look at the first one, there's like a white smudge above it, so that's where we're talking. Now, we talked about last night at first, we talked about could the first one actually be a person with a white shirt on? But BB, you pointed out something. You were saying you thought it was
too wide at the base. It's too wide at the base to be legs.
Well, for me,
it's got the same shape the whole way. I think it's a bucket sitting in a little ways in front of the barrel. That appears to be at the top of the barrel, but
I could see that. I could see that could be. If it was a better resolution, I'd be able to tell you. But I could see that. Jeannie, what are you thinking?
See, I think that's an EMT guy wearing black pants and a white shirt.
Okay, I could see that too. If he's a big guy, he would have to be a really big guy.
And if he's wearing dress pants, dress pants have that look.
Jeannie,
then he's got some thick ankles.
Hold on a minute. Jeannie, look at the guy and then look at the maroon car. Is he going to fit in that car? Because remember, that car, it's really far away, so he would get tinier. Yeah,
but I think the resolution is what's making him a little bit bigger than what he is. Because if you look
So
to the
then-
left side of it,
Yeah,
it looks like his legs are closer together. We're just seeing like a little bit of a blur line.
okay. So if that's true, then we have some very tiny little black things beside him that's just as small as your bottom half of your body.
I think those are people.
You think all four of those are people and they're missing their top
I
half?
do.
Okay.
I think the last two are dressed in black. Like, look
Well,
at the other
he
people
would
standing
be-
around the car. They all got
hold
black
on.
jackets on.
They only
He's
come up
standing
to his
ahead
waist.
of them, though. They're further behind him.
Not
No,
much.
they're all
And not the
together.
one on the far right.
Yeah.
The one on the far right
Far
is
right's
actually
even
further ahead.
away. And he would be
And
half
if you-
as tall.
And if you look at the burgundy car that's in the middle, and you see that guy that's on the right in front of that burgundy car,
Yeah.
or that red car, look at his waist and his arms area
Okay.
is wider at the top, and at the bottom by his ankles,
True.
it's smaller and skinnier.
Okay, well,
And that's why I say
So-
these are barrels, because they're very
They're wide based.
cylinder.
I look at this, and for me, at first I thought these were people standing there, like you, Jeannie. But then I started really looking at this, and for my take on it is that these are barrels. I would go with you, BB, and I think that it's possible that we are looking at a piece of plastic or a bag that's sitting on the road ahead of it, or a white.
Yeah, it could be that too. Yeah.
I don't think it's a bucket because it's almost like an off-white color to me. Or it could be an off-white bucket. Who knows? But I think that's something else separate. That's just my little own view. But when I look at the other two, I can actually see, when I look at the people, I see a much bigger blob on the top, and it's all distorted, and it's like they're moving, they're different shapes, elbows are out, so forth. But when I look at these two in barrels, well, that's what I think they are, as barrels, I see circular black holes on top. So that's why I really feel those are barrels. That's how I feel. I think that's what we'll leave you guys to kind of weigh in on. What do you think? Do you think they're people? Do you think that they're barrels? What's your take on it? Share with us. Give us feedback and leave something in the comments. And kind of weigh in on this so that we can work through it, because that's what we need, is more opinions than just the three of us in the room. So now if we go to, we've got this black, smudgy, weird, dirty area in the middle of Kuss Road.
Oh, the middle one, yeah.
And
Yeah.
everybody kind of is like, weighing in on it. Some people are like, we've heard wonderful ideas. One was that it is a black vehicle that's in motion and it's turning, and because it's in motion, it's causing the blur and we get the kidney bean. Another one was that it's a dump truck mark where they've dumped something on the road and it leaves that little trail, and that the trail's from the tailgate of that, and it's been suggested that it could be asphalt. Another one is that it's the original maroon vehicle with people standing around it. And we're nowhere any further on the dark spot in the road. Another one is that they've dumped the barrels out on the road on tarp. They've spread out the stuff. They've made sure there's no deer camp information in the stuff. And they've reloaded it into the barrels to take it into the crime lab so that it doesn't implicate the deer camp, and it assures that it points to Steven. So that was another one. What else, guys? We've heard so many different ideas. I'm trying to think. I'll be honest. This whole black stuff is so black. But I will say, I blew up one of these little blackish looking vehicles at the neck of the Kuss Road. The first one is actually a very dark maroon. So it makes me wonder, could it be because the back, or it would be the hood of the car, not the hood. Yeah, so the roof is really, really dark, and so is the windshield. It's really black there.
And that could just be a person standing faded there and a person at the back of it standing.
Especially if there's somebody standing in front of the maroon vehicle, you get that little weird bobble. So it could be a car. It could also be asphalt, because we got contacted by Jefferson County, a wildlife commissioner, or I can't remember their title. I should have memorized it, but they're in the wildlife department. They work for the government, and they save what's called the blind babies. And the babies are called blind because they haven't got their eyes open yet, and mama will cross a paved road of the highway, and the new asphalt and pavement erases her scent, and the blind babies can't find mama and they get orphaned. So she has a lot of issues with the asphalt because it totally degrades the scent to the point that the animals can't pick it up, even their own mothers. So it would lead you to believe the asphalt, if it gets poured on a place where they've sorted out something, they could come in and pat it down with a shovel and move on. So that's
Well,
like
and I had
five
thought,
different...
I had thought that if it was asphalt, it would kill the scent for the dogs. Because people keep saying dogs don't lie. But I keep saying, but they can be tricked.
You're right, and you have a great point there. Dogs can be tricked. In fact, let me tell you this. We have to be careful and believe in everything we hear. In this case, in any case that we check into, because there was this school that had a teacher that was teaching the canine units, and one of the units used on this case was trained there. She was caught by other investigators planting bone evidence at a murder scene so that her dogs would look like they were very good at their job.
Yes.
Wow.
For real. Fact.
So you
fact.
Yeah, you can't believe everything you see, you hear.
Dogs can be tricked.
Dogs could be tricked. Baby, at first we were all like, oh, no. They can smell everything, but they could be misled. They can be tricked.
Yeah.
Yes, they can be tricked.
If you plant it, they'll find it, you know.
For that matter, another situation we've talked about, another suggestion that could have happened here is somebody, including myself in the beginning, said, you know, what if this was a hustle shot area, the victim standing in the back of her cargo area, door open, she's bludgeoned to death there, then thrown in the back of the Rev. Rev is removed. It would leave a bloody spot in the middle of the road. They could have pulled the red maroon vehicle over the location to hide it from the flyover, so it just looked like a car. And then as soon as they got the asphalt down there, they would pull the red vehicle away, pour the asphalt on. Where would the asphalt come from? Another viewer was paying attention and said, hey, is that why they need Josh Branda? Because he's concrete, he would have asphalt. And he's not going to talk about it because he's the one guy that's not going to be saying, hey, I just took asphalt down on Kuss Road, because we got all kinds of evidence that looks like, you know, allegedly is coming from his property at deer camp. So,
and he was allowed on the property 4 times.
4 times.
Yeah.
4.
4 of them.
On a crime scene.
Yeah. So.
Now, I don't think Randit myself had a damn thing to do with this. I think he honestly was like, what's on my property? Because I'm going to reiterate my thought. What's good for the goose, good for the gander. Steve wouldn't have brought it up to his own backyard. Neither would Josh Randit. Okay?
Right.
So, that's just my thinking. Okay, so, Lacey, do you have any suggestions, or what is your take on the middle of the spot in the road?
I think that the last thing you just said is a very good possibility. I think that maybe something happened with the hustle shot, that there was a confrontation, and I don't know. I think they're hiding something for sure.
Okay. Well, they're always hiding something.
Yeah. But I get what she's saying. She means with the car and the asphalt.
Yeah.
Well, they're always hiding something, yeah.
So there are some things out there. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you guys think, because that's where we are right now in research with this. We're just walking our research out with you guys so that you're there with us. If we have more eyes and ears and, you know, thought process on these things, we're going to work through it a lot better. It's not about credit. It's about getting this stuff figured out, okay?
Yeah, and if someone else sees something, knows something, or feels a certain way, let us know. We'll look in.
Yep, we definitely do. And I want to do a shout out to a couple people. 777, thanks for sending us those photos, which we're going to be using. They're quite incredible, and they brought us a lot more understanding of how serious the situation was. So that was amazing.
Thank you.
And also shout out to the person that reached out for working at that place in Wisconsin. Now, I'll protect your privacy, but for what you did, it gave us some insight as to how asphalt works, if that is indeed the... again, it's all just plausible plots. So we have 5 different things that could have happened there. There's a lot more, and we're not really narrowing down which one it is. We're just bringing up creative, critical thinking. And it's imperative that you yourself use your brain on anything you're working on to critically think. If you only go with what's been told to you and you don't analyze things, you're not going to come up with your own thought process. You're simply going to be fed information and regurgitate it. And we don't need that. We need people that are paying attention. That's how we've gotten so far. So that's just to wake you up a little bit at home as an armchair sleuth. Get over your shyness. You don't have to even talk to us. You can just send an email and just say, I'm a Rubberducky listener, and here's something I want to share. So we need your help.
Or you could show up in our Discord Puddle room and help us out.
Yeah. And you can talk in there, you can share with us, and you can also get to where you're on one of these podcasts with us and be voicing your opinion. We welcome that. We truly do. We want more eyes on it.
And they can reach you on Twitter also.
So you guys, I kind of wanted to jump into the main thing that last night Alley Cat came in the room after we'd been working on this a while. And she was like, well, what is that right there? And we were like, what? So in this picture that we're on right now still, okay?
Yes.
You see the whole shape of the upside down teardrop of Kuss. And then you can see the state trooper at the top of the road with the two V's off. I want to establish to you guys that if you go to the right, you can see that continues along a path and it goes all the way up to deer camp, okay?
Yep.
Halfway around there at some point is where they find their first shallow grave that has a stump. Now, they're not going to send an ambulance for a stump, right?
No.
So something's back there because the dogs hit on the back of deer camp stoop. They hit at that location. Okay, so they're only going to hit on something human dead or blood, human blood. And it hit there.
That's cadaver.
Cadaver.
That's cadaver dog.
So the cadaver dog's only going to hit on a cadaver. It hits there. It then goes all the way up here where it's coming towards the trooper and they have the crime tape across and the dog is strongly trying to get across the tape. Pulling the worker. And they're like, nope, can't come across here. She's like, my dog needs cross here. He's trying to do his job. You call your supervisor, right? They call Jerry Pogel, which is the sheriff, and he says, the cadaver dog can't come down here. We've taped it off as a crime scene.
Wow.
That is really strange. All on its own.
Very strange.
Crime dog can't come on a crime scene. No, none of that.
So
bring him down, but don't let him do his job.
So that tells you one thing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that's
They're hiding something.
Flag.
Yes. So if the dog hit in these woods, that's why Zellner keeps saying shallow grave, right? So if you look at the situation, if the dog is coming down on Kuss Road, why is it coming to Kuss? Something there either has blood, and it's on the same trail that it hit on back there, and it's trying to get through. So this is where Alley Cat came in. So when you look at this, you guys, Alley Cat came in, and she's like, what you see on the left there, that tape? And we're like, yeah, crime tape, what's up? She's like, well, it's the stump holding that up there. And then there's like, is that a body bag laying under something? And BB's pointed out that this thing across it, if you look, we'll get another picture in a minute, it appears to be a piece of cardboard over it. Is that a body bag?
It appears to be a cardboard box that's unfolded. You can see the corner bend,
opened up,
and you can see the flap. And
so, this is too small to have a body, I think, because look at the size of the log. You know, I'm wondering, are we finding body parts? This is the big question. Are they finding body parts? Let's go down and let's look at the body bags examples. And to me, you guys, 44 looks more like what it is. You get this tie off at the bottom. And it's more of a emergency version. And since they're not letting the corner down here, this might be something they have in case of emergency that they would have available that they could have snagged from the corner and thrown in the ambulance.
Or it may just have been in the ambulance. Maybe
So
that's their type of bag.
this comes from Lynn Kaczynski's notes. It's what it is it says evidence list, and it says photos shown to Brendan is what it said in the file. And then I grabbed way down on the list, I grabbed this stuff. D5, D7, area photos. D8, burned barrel. D9, picture of car. D10, pictures of field with marker. Let's stop there. Field with marker, that sounds like Kuss to me because they call it the winter wheat field.
And they say it on the recording.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know if that's an E, but it looks like an E1. It says picture of crime lab. F1, pictures of salvage yard. H1 and H2. Now you guys, pay close attention. Pictures of body with measurements and of dig site. Parentheses, salvage yard. I bet you it's not the salvage yard. I'm betting, I'm just saying, could it be Kuss Road?
Or deer camp. Or that
Or
is
deer
Kuss
camp.
Road. Yeah.
Or deer camp.
Yeah, I'm thinking more deer camp.
So we checked into this. There's over 60 H1 pictures and there's over 50. No, I'm sorry. Let me repeat that. There's over 90 H1 pictures. There's over 50 to 60 H2 pictures. FOIA, they say these pictures are being held for trial.
So what does that mean?
I don't know.
I know.
Have we ever even seen any of them?
No one has.
No.
Why hasn't Steven's lawyer ever seen any of these photos then?
I don't know. I'm thinking Kathleen Zellner's trying her best, you know, and she may have them. But
That
we
is
also
so
do this
unfair.
in case she hasn't, in case this little hidden note in the bottom of some ramblings of Lynn Kaczynski on a non-trial document, you know, maybe it never got brought to light. Who knows?
She might have not looked. She might have not looked at Brendan's trial either.
It was Brendan's trial.
Wow.
See?
Well, it's brought to
if
light
she's-
now.
This is why we do this stuff, to bring awareness. Now, I'm going to go back after reading that. Let's read it one more time. That's how important it is. I can't stress to you guys. Pictures of body with measurements and of dig site. They're killing
And body
me on
usually
this.
means a body, a whole body.
If it's a body of water, they're not going to be calling it a dig site.
No.
You have a car body, but that's not what it says because D9 is pictures of a car.
They would call it a burn site, right? If it was...
Burnt, it would be a burnt, but it doesn't. It says dig site.
And they don't say
And it
pictures
says-
of partial body with measurements. They say of body.
Well, those little teeny bone chips,
Aren't going to
there
be
is
measured and
absolutely,
photographed like
they
that.
would need a micrometer to measure those.
And they wouldn't call it a body. They would call it bones.
I'm asking you guys, is Alley Cat right? Could this be a body? Is this why the cadaver dog's trying to get down there?
And
Is
she
that
was
why we-
tiny.
We have an ambulance. We have a cadaver dog hitting on the back stoop of deer camp. We have a cadaver dog hitting on a shallow grave along the way. We have a cadaver dog trying to get onto the circle at Kuss Road, while he's told it's a crime scene. Not only do we have that, we also have the situation where we've got state trooper, DCI. We've got an enormous amount of people responding to this area. We're told by Kratz himself, it's absolutely nothing to see here. Move along. That's a big, big bump for me in the road. I'm going to stop and go see what's laying there because something's not right. If Kratz is telling us, we don't need to be looking at this stuff. Colburn, questioned in the trial. It was nothing. Nothing to see. Nothing to see. But the thing is, they do get called there and get sent away. And it was nothing to start with. But they all have to come back. And they all start reporting on having to come back. And we have people that are having to spend 48 hours here. And like Bibi said, they treat this more like a crime scene than they do Stevens. And furthermore, if this is a body, they would have found this body, according to this, on the 7th. And we have What kind of evidence showing up at Stevens on the 8th? We've got bones. We've got a phone and electronics. We have a license plate. And we have a key. Was the crime scene possibly down here? At Kuss Road?
Very much possible.
I think so too, you guys. What do you guys think?
Okay. Now, I got an opinion on this. If it's somebody deceased, it is not an entire body, because we looked at the burn barrels that we believe are burn barrels, and this is half the size of them. We think it's a stump standing there. And if you take that stump that's half the size of a burn barrel in height and lay it down, that is not, I don't care how tiny she is, she's
You're right.
not that small.
I agree.
There's no way it's a whole body.
Okay,
It would be from the waist down at best, if
Okay.
it is.
So let's think about this, you guys. We only have 40% at best of the body in the bones. So what if they found 40% of her body? What if that's what we're looking at?
I can't argue that point because there is a little bit of thickness to it, but lengthwise, it's like the same length laying down as that stump is, which is like half the
Well, it's
height
actually
of a
up under,
barrel.
you got to remember, it's up under that cardboard quite a ways, BB. There's stuff we're not seeing of it that could be curved, too. We're not seeing
Yeah, but you
all
know
of
how
it.
big's the box? It's not a
And we don't know
Gaylord,
how
it's a
wide
box.
it is
And we don't know
either.
how big that box is either. But yeah, you're right. We never do have a whole set of bones. So I think you're right. I'll go that with you. So we've got possibly 40% of it. And we don't even know how much they had found at this point. They might find more later. So I guess the question I'm asking is, how plausible is it with the dog behaving the way he did, with them treating the whole deer camp the way they did, and Kuss Road the way they did, as such an entire, they treat it like a crime scene. Nobody's allowed down here. You don't have log in and outs because there's so much high traffic. You know who's on that property. They are on official business
Hillegas
only.
isn't allowed down here under his
Hillegas
real
isn't
name or a
allowed.
fake name.
Wait, let's correct that, BB. Killigas, right? Isn't
Yeah,
allowed
Killigas.
down here. Yeah.
Or Hillegas, either way.
That's a big deal. Allie might be onto something there. Seriously. There's a lot more to talk about. A lot more. And we're not going to leave this body thing alone until we understand it better. There's no reason to leave it alone when we have the H1 and H2 photos that nobody has ever seen. Why not? Why is it being quoted by Lynn Kaczynski that it's body, measurement, dig site? Why do we have a cadaver dog that's taking us right to Kuss Road from deer camp? Why is he hitting on a shallow grave? Why do we have state troopers doing graphical mapping of Kuss Road and deer camp and such?
If there's nothing there.
Yeah, Kratz. Nothing here to see. 1, 2, 3. If you didn't do the crime, you shouldn't do the time. Love you guys. Love you much. Have a great day.
Love much.
432 193 193. Squad. Can you copy on code? West. Go ahead. 405 402, you get 22. 10-4. 193, can you copy on code? 10-4, we're going to need a marked unit at the end of Kuss Road. Marked unit at the end of Kuss Road to control traffic. Okay, you need to stop it at Q Queen and Kuss. Affirmative. That's where you could set up Kuss, White Cedar Road, and Q Queen, and then obviously no one